You see, there's something rather peculiar happening inside your head right now. Even as you listen to these words, there's a second conversation running in the background, a relentless chatter, a constant evaluation, a perpetual state of emergency about absolutely nothing at all. We wake up already running, not physically, mind you, but psychologically sprinting from some invisible predator that never quite catches us and never quite goes away. Your chest feels tight before your feet even hit the floor. Your mind is already 3 meetings ahead, 2 arguments behind, and somehow simultaneously worried about both your retirement fund and what you had for breakfast. And we have given this feeling a name: anxiety. We've made it official, clinical, something to be conquered, defeated, eliminated. We declare war on our own nervous system and then wonder why we're exhausted by noon. But here's the delicious irony that nobody wants to hear. The very act of trying to defeat your anxiety is precisely what keeps it alive. It's like trying to smooth out water by hitting it with a hammer. Every strike creates more ripples. Every effort generates more disturbance. So I'd like to explore something rather radical with you. What if the cure for anxiety tastes like nothing? What if the solution is not another solution at all, but the end of solving? What if you've been playing a game where the only winning move is to stop playing? Now, let's look at this magnificent disaster we call the human mind. This biological computer sitting between your ears. It's a remarkable piece of equipment, really. Millions of years of evolution have crafted it into the ultimate problem-solving machine. Your ancestor, Og, standing in the tall grass of the savannah, needed this machine desperately. Is that movement in the grass a breeze or a lion? Is that berry food or poison? His mind was a survival radar, constantly scanning, evaluating, preparing, and those who were best at worrying, at anticipating danger, at creating worst-case scenarios, they lived. They passed on their genes. They became your great-great-great-grandfather. But here's where the cosmic joke begins. Og's descendant, that's you, sits in a temperature-controlled room, surrounded by more safety and comfort than any human in history. Yet that same radar is still spinning at full speed. Only now, instead of scanning for lions, it's scanning for what exactly? Email tones that might mean disaster. That look your colleague gave you, that could mean anything. The slight pain in your shoulder that WebMD assures you is fatal. The tone of your partner's fine when you asked how they were. Your mind has become so sensitive, so hypervigilant, that it's picking up static from distant galaxies. It's creating tigers out of shadows, catastrophes out of possibilities. And here's the part that really turns the screw. We've made a fundamental error in identification. We think we are this problem-solving machine. We believe we are the voice in our head, the endless narrator, the paranoid security guard who never takes a coffee break. Think about that for a moment. If you believe you are a problem solver, what happens when there are no problems? You create them. You must. Otherwise, who would you be? A problem solver without problems is like a firefighter who sets fires just to have something to put out. And that's exactly what your mind is doing, every single day. So naturally, being the clever creatures we are, we try to solve this problem of having too many problems. We become anxious about our anxiety. We worry about our worrying. It's like a dog chasing its own tail. Except the dog has convinced itself that catching the tail will bring enlightenment. This is what I call the feedback loop of madness. You feel anxious, then you notice you're anxious, then you become anxious about being anxious, which makes you more anxious, which makes you angry that you're anxious, which makes you anxious about being angry, about being anxious. It's exhausting just to describe it, let alone live it. And what's our brilliant solution? We try to think our way out of thinking too much. We attempt to worry our way out of worry. It's like trying to lift yourself up by your own collar or attempting to bite your own teeth. The tool you're using is the problem you're trying to fix. Imagine you have a glass of muddy water. The mud is all stirred up, swirling around, making everything opaque. That's your anxious mind. Now, what's the fastest way to get clear water? Would you stick your hand in and try to grab the mud? Would you shake the glass vigorously while shouting, "Become clear"? Of course not. You'd look ridiculous. Yet that's exactly what we do with our minds every day. The only way to clear the water is to set the glass down and do absolutely nothing. Let gravity do the work. Let time do the work. Let nature do the work. The mud settles on its own when you stop interfering. But oh, how we hate to stop interfering, because we've been sold a bill of goods about what life is supposed to be. We live in a culture that worships security like a golden calf. We're told that life is a journey from the dangerous wilderness of youth to the fortified city of retirement. Build your walls high enough, stack your money deep enough, plan far enough ahead, and you'll finally be safe. But I must tell you something that might disturb you. Security is a myth. Not just difficult to achieve, actually impossible. It's like trying to nail jelly to a wall. The moment you think you've got it, it's already gone. You are not a fortress. You are not even a thing. You are a process, a happening, a dance of atoms that temporarily decided to call itself by your name. You're more like a whirlpool in a stream, a recognizable pattern. Yes, but made entirely of movement. Try to grab a whirlpool, and what do you get? A handful of water. This isn't depressing, it's liberating. Because once you understand that you're not a solid, separate thing that needs defending, the whole anxiety game starts to look rather silly. It's like a wave being anxious about the ocean. You are the ocean, playing at being a wave. We live in what I call a wiggly world. Everything is in motion, everything is changing. Your body replaces every cell. Your thoughts flow like a river. Even mountains are just very slow waves. And here you are, trying to make it all stand still, trying to make the river of life flow in neat, predictable, scheduled channels. The future you're so worried about, it doesn't exist. It's a concept, a mental projection, a ghost story you're telling yourself. You're scared of your own imagination. You're having a horror movie marathon in your head and wondering why you can't sleep. So what's the alternative to all this striving and struggling? The answer is so simple that your complicated mind will probably reject it immediately. Float, not sink, that's resignation, that's giving up. But float, like a skilled swimmer who knows that fighting the water leads to drowning, but working with the water leads to grace. There's an ancient Chinese concept called Wu Wei, often translated as non-action or effortless effort. It's not about doing nothing. It's about not forcing. It's the difference between the amateur dancer who counts every step and the master who becomes the music. You cannot force yourself to relax. That's a contradiction. You cannot effort your way to effortlessness. You cannot think your way to thoughtlessness. The harder you try to sleep, the more awake you become. The more you chase happiness, the faster it runs. This is the law of reverse effort, and it governs everything that matters. But wait, here's where everything turns inside out. Ready for the cosmic plot twist that changes everything? You've been trying to cure your anxiety as if you were a patient with a disease. But what if, and stay with me here, what if anxiety isn't something you have, but something you're doing? What if you are the universe having an anxious experience about itself? Think about it. When you dream at night, you create the entire dream world, including the character you think you are in the dream. You're the dreamer, the dream, and the dreamed. The monster chasing you? That's you. The you running from the monster? Also you. The fear you feel? Still you. And this waking life? Same structure, different resolution. Here's the secret that your anxiety doesn't want you to know. You don't need to win the war in your head because there is no war. There's just weather. Thoughts and feelings passing through like clouds. Sometimes storms, sometimes sunshine, but always temporary, always changing. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. The clouds can be dark, threatening, turbulent, but they cannot damage the sky. They cannot stain it or break it or make it less vast. The sky simply holds them, allows them, and watches them pass. But how do we make this practical? How do we take this cosmic understanding and apply it to the Tuesday morning panic attack or the 3 a.m. spiral of doom? First, Change your language. Stop saying, I am anxious. Start noticing, I am aware of anxiety arising. That little shift creates space. You're no longer the anxiety, you're the awareness of it. You're not the storm, you're the one watching the storm. When you feel that familiar tightness, that racing mind, don't run, don't fight. Do something revolutionary. Welcome it. Ah, hello, anxiety, my old friend. You're here again. Make yourself comfortable. Would you like some tea? I'm not joking. Anxiety is like a small child having a tantrum. The more you resist, the louder it screams. But if you give it your full, non-judgmental attention, it often just wants to be heard and then it leaves. Come back to your senses. Not your thoughts about your senses, but the actual, raw, immediate experience. The feeling of your feet on the ground. The sensation of breath in your nostrils. The sound of traffic or birds or silence. Anxiety cannot live in the present moment because anxiety is always about the future. Always about what might happen. Never about what is happening. And here's the ultimate punchline. The cosmic joke that makes all of this deliciously absurd. You're trying so hard to become something you already are. You're seeking peace as if you're not made of the same stuff as the stars, which have been peacefully exploding and reforming for billions of years. You're looking for yourself with yourself, like a person frantically searching for their glasses while wearing them. The cure for anxiety is not more control, but less. Not more thinking, but less. Not more doing, but less. The cure tastes like nothing because it is nothing you need to add, no thing you need to achieve, no thing you need to become. You see, you are playing a cosmic game of hide and seek with yourself. You are the universe pretending to be a separate, anxious person just for the thrill of it, just for the experience. And anxiety is part of the game. It's the feeling of taking the game too seriously, of forgetting it's a game at all. So what happens when you remember? When you see through the whole charade? You don't become enlightened, that's just another goal, another future, another thing to be anxious about. You simply stop. You breathe. You notice that you're already here, already alive, already complete. The war in your mind ends not with victory, but with laughter. The laughter of recognition. The laughter of seeing how elaborate and unnecessary the whole struggle has been. Like Dorothy discovering she could have gone home anytime she wanted, you realize you've been standing in paradise, worrying about the directions to paradise. Your anxiety is not your enemy. It's a misguided friend, an overprotective parent, a smoke alarm that goes off when you make toast. Thank it for trying to keep you safe, and then gently, lovingly, let it know that you're okay. You've always been okay. You will always be okay. Not because life is safe, but because you are life itself, playing at being dangerous. So go ahead. Stop fighting. Stop solving. Stop trying to stop. Let the muddy water of your mind settle. Trust the intelligence that beats your heart and dreams your dreams. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a mystery to be lived. And that mystery, that uncertainty you've been running from, that's not the threat. That's the gift. That's the whole dance. But wait, before you go, before you return to what you call your life, let me leave you with something practical, something you can touch when the 3 a.m. demons come calling. You see, the ancient masters knew something we've forgotten in our age of solutions and fixes. They knew that wisdom isn't something you acquire like a degree or a certification. It's something you remember, like a song you knew before you were born, playing just beneath the threshold of hearing. When anxiety rises, and it will, because you're human, because you're alive, remember this. You don't have to be good at this. You don't have to master non-attachment or achieve enlightenment or even understand what I'm saying. The water doesn't need to understand gravity to settle. The seed doesn't need to understand botany to grow. And you don't need to understand the cosmos to be the cosmos. There's a beautiful paradox here that your mind will hate, but your heart already knows. The moment you truly give up trying to fix yourself is the moment you realize there was nothing broken. The moment you stop trying to find yourself is the moment you realize you were never lost. You were just looking in the wrong direction. Outward, forward, backward. Anywhere but here. Anywhere but now. And what about those practical Tuesday mornings, when the alarm goes off and the weight of the world lands on your chest before your eyes even open? Here's your practice, if practice is even the right word. Notice that you're already doing it. You're already breathing. Your heart is already beating. Life is already living itself through you without your management, without your worry, without your permission. That tightness in your chest, it's not a malfunction. It's energy, raw, powerful, creative energy that your mind has labeled bad and called anxiety. What if you stopped calling it anything? What if you just felt it like you'd feel the sun on your face or rain on your skin? Not good, not bad, just intense, just alive. You know what's really funny? We spend so much energy trying to feel better, trying to be happier, trying to achieve peace. But have you ever noticed that in your best moments, those times when you felt truly alive, truly present, you weren't trying at all. You were just there. The trying is the trap. The effort is the prison. The search is what keeps you from finding. So here's my invitation, and it's an invitation you can refuse. What if you stopped being a spiritual seeker, a self-improvement project, a work in progress? What if you stopped being anything at all for just one moment? Not forever. I'm not asking you to quit your job and live in a cave, just for one breath, one heartbeat, one eternal instant of just being what you are, without commentary, without judgment, without the endless narration. In that space, and it only takes a crack, a sliver of an opening, something remembers itself, something laughs, something recognizes the whole game, the whole beautiful, terrible, magnificent game of pretending to be separate, pretending to be small, pretending to be afraid. And then you go on. You make breakfast. You answer emails. You live your life. But something has shifted. Not outside. The world remains its glorious, chaotic self. But inside, in that space you call me, there's a little more room, a little more play, a little more recognition that the one who's anxious and the one who watches the anxiety are not the same. You are the watcher. You always have been. You're the space in which everything appears. Thoughts, feelings, sensations, the whole drama. And space doesn't get anxious. Space doesn't need therapy. Space doesn't need to be fixed because space can't be broken. This isn't spiritual bypassing. This isn't pretending problems don't exist. Your bills still need paying. Your relationships still need tending. Your body still needs care. But you do these things from a different place now. Not from anxiety, but from love. Not from fear of failure, but from the joy of participation. Not because you have to prove something, but because you're here, you're alive. And why not dance? The cosmic joke, the ultimate punchline that echoes through eternity, is that you've been searching for the exit door in a house that has no walls. You've been trying to solve a puzzle that was never scrambled. You've been trying to wake up from a dream, not realizing that the one trying to wake up is the dream. So, what now? Now nothing. Now everything. Now this breath, this moment, this unrepeatable instant of existence that's already disappearing into the next. No need to hold it. No need to understand it. No need to Instagram it, or journal about it, or turn it into a life lesson. Just let it be what it is. Proof that you're already home. Evidence that you've already arrived. A love letter from the universe to itself, signed with your name. The anxiety will come back. Let it. The thoughts will spiral. Let them. The future will beckon with its promises and threats. Let it. You are bigger than all of it. Not bigger in the sense of superior, but bigger in the sense of including it all. You are the container and the contained, the question and the answer, the seeking and the sought. And in the end, though there is no end, just an endless beginning, you'll discover what every mystic, every poet, every laughing child has always known. The medicine you're looking for is the illness. The prison you're trying to escape is made of the same substance as freedom. The war in your mind ends the moment you realize there's nobody fighting it but yourself. So here we are. At the end, that's not an end. At the conclusion, that concludes nothing. You came here looking for an answer to anxiety, and I've given you something much more valuable. The recognition that you are the answer, not the anxious you, not the confident you, not the spiritual you or the successful you, Just you, plain, simple, already perfect in your imperfection you. The you that exists before thought, beneath identity, beyond description. The you that can't be anxious because it has no edges to defend. The you that can't be threatened because it's made of the same stuff as everything else. The you that's been here all along, waiting patiently for you to stop looking for it. Welcome home. You never left. That's the gift. That's the whole dance. That's the joke so funny that the universe is still laughing.